Hello, everyone. This is Keith Rowe with Vital Healing. Thank you for joining me for this week's Substack essay. Today, I want to talk about a kind of tiredness that a lot of us are carrying, where even when the day ends, something in us keeps going and we never really disconnect. And that is the title of this week's piece. We never really disconnect. I've been noticing a particular kind of tiredness lately. It's the kind that doesn't really go away with sleep. Even when we stop working or try to wind down the day, something in us keeps going. Sometimes I catch myself reaching for my phone without thinking. And other times the phone is nowhere near me and my mind is still running conversations and plans in unfinished loops. It's less about stimulation and more about never fully stepping out of engagement. Many of us live there nowadays. Rest doesn't really mean letting go of the day or our thoughts. It looks more like pausing visible activity while part of our attention stays attached to what we were doing. And much of our energy remains organized around the next demand. So we get tired in a way that sleep alone cannot repair. It isn't really about devices. We can do this with work, relationships, the news, or just our thoughts. The object changes, but the pattern stays the same. Something keeps holding our attention and keeps the body slightly activated. You can see it in ordinary moments. Meals eaten while reading headlines, or a walk where our body moves, but our mind rehearses the next conversation. We may look as though we're resting, but our body never receives the message that it is allowed to stop preparing. Without that signal, stopping activity doesn't feel like rest. It feels like waiting, and waiting takes effort. Over time, the nervous system adapts to this constant partial engagement. Even in stillness, it stays slightly braced. Sleep restores energy, but not deeper renewal, because renewal depends on more than inactivity. It depends on release. By release, I mean the moment the body is no longer oriented toward what comes next. Attention is here rather than ahead. Nothing is being monitored. Nothing is about to be resumed. That moment is simple, but often unfamiliar, which is why sitting quietly, walking without input, or breathing without purpose can feel uncomfortable at first. We are used to remaining connected to something. But when that connection loosens, even briefly, the environment becomes noticeable again. Time feels less compressed, and the body stops holding itself together so tightly. And that is where rest begins. Maybe we aren't actually short on breaks. Maybe we're short on moments where nothing is being asked of us at all. As you move through your day, try returning to the present moment and just be there for a minute. Let your breath deepen a little. And over time, this will allow us to spend more of our lives here and less of it worrying about what comes next. Maybe as this piece ends, just notice where you are for a moment. Nothing to fix right now. Nothing you need to prepare for in the next few seconds. Just the room you're in, the sounds around you, and your breath moving on its own. Most of the time, we move straight from one thing into the next without ever feeling a clean ending. So before you go on with your day, let this be one of those endings, a small pause where nothing is being asked of you. And maybe that's enough for the body to remember that it doesn't have to stay on all the time. Thank you for joining me on this vital healing journey as we find our way back to ourselves and back to each other. Until next time.